AOC says, "My bad," pretty much. I don't know if you read some of the story, Nick, or some of the questioning, because
I haven't read it, so you be breaking it down for me.
Yeah, it's not an article. It's more of a conversation. So let's read the first question that Ryan. I don't think there's an audio version. Let me see if it's an audio version. We can just listen to it. Yeah, I don't think he put the audio version up. So let's just read the question and let's see what types of questions he starts with. So the party machine players that you talked about and the big money groups, they often work really closely together, but that doesn't seem like it's been happening so much on the left. Like there's a coalition of groups: Working Families Party, Indivisible, Justice Democrats,
you mean the George
etc.
Soros Party?
Isn't this the same people?
Yeah, that's the George Soros
Isn't this
Party.
all? This is all the same people. So that gets behind candidates, but often the stars of the progressive world, like yourself or Bernie or others, don't seem to be working as closely with them as corporate Democrats are working with corporate groups.
Ryan Graham, you sneaky motherfucker. Finish the question. I'll explain what he's doing here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And you guys often don't say endorse a candidate until pretty close to the end of the campaign. It doesn't seem to be the same level of teamwork as on the right wing of the party. Why is that? That is Ryan's first question.
Ryan Graham is like, why don't y'all guys vote as a block? Why don't you guys actually do something as a squad? That was a very nice version of saying that, by the way. And I'm not gonna shout out Ryan Graham too much, but I see what you're doing, you sneaky motherfucker. What's up, Rome? What's good, my nigga? Hold up, Rome about joining here soon. But Ryan Graham, and I am being a little bit nitpicky here, just a little bit. But he calls out AOC for not working with the activist flank. But you sneaky motherfucker, look at who he lists. He's an AOC. Why don't you work with the left like the corporate Democrats work with the corporate Dems, like the far right with the far right? Didn't she list just the Democrats?
That's the same people.
Nigga,
that's like saying Jacobin and DSA. What? That's the same people.
So the question should be, AOC, why don't you work with healthcare activists who march for Medicare for All? Since we got Rome here, AOC, why don't you work with Tour for the Poor? Why don't you help expand mutual aid systems? You notice how Ryan Graham is not asking that? He's asking, why aren't you working more with the George Soros funded Working Family Party? Why aren't you working more with the Justice Democrats more? Very, very sneaky. Very sneaky, but go ahead.
We see what you're doing, Rome? But let's give Rome the proper introduction. Yeah, let me take this out. Yeah. What's up, Rome? How you been? What's going on?
Yeah, I saw you in the comment. What's
going on? Yeah, man. I'm like, hold on. I'm like, she said, what? Let me hop on this shit. Like, what are you talking about? There is no mistakes. Everything is written. You know what I'm saying? Do you not proofread these bills before you sign them? Do you not I just funded a whole bunch of Nazis. Oh, my mistake. My bad, y'all. Damn. Oh, I just gave your money to CIA agents. My bad. Like, it's a mistake. Honest mistake.
Like, damn, these niggas always on my ass, man. Yeah, I sent a little weapons to Taiwan.
Yeah, my hat say abolish ICE, and I just gave him more money. It was a mistake, man. It was a mistake. All right, bro. I just don't get this. There is no mistakes, and you see how big that mistake is, right? Their mistakes cost lives. Their mistakes cost lives, livelihoods. You know, that's not a mistake. You are writing off people's lives. You are a murderer. Just as much as the rhinos, just as much as whatever the fuck they call themselves, you are just as bad as the ones that you claim you're not. Matter of fact, even worse, because you come with the tongue of the people, but with a mindset of a capitalist. So you're even worse. There is no mistakes. You were just an evil person.
All right. Let me read a little more of the article. I'll take this off on Rome's face there. Let's, where am I? Right here. Okay. Okay, right here. And I finished that. So let's go to her answer. So why is it that you don't coalition more is essentially the question. And here's AOC's answer. It's long. It shouldn't be this long for this, but well, I think some of it is just has to do with resources. That's what she's saying. Resources, as far as teaming up, it has to do with resources. I think the ability to do that with big money is very different than the ability to do that with not big money. But I also think that the left in this country, like we're just been in this in a big way for just a couple of years. Wait, let me read this again. But I also think that the left in this country, like we've just been in this in a big way for just a couple of years. And so I think, yeah, this is why it's starting not to make sense. So I think that the left is really going through a lot of growth. And I do think, and I hope that over time, this degree of collaboration gets even better and even stronger.
So one paragraph in, I'll let you continue reading. One paragraph in, didn't answer the question. But go ahead, continue. I just want to point that out. Still didn't answer the question.
Of course, okay. We're going to go through this whole thing, and you're never going to hear a fucking answer. This is why she's saying so much. If she was to give a direct answer, it wouldn't have been this much on the goddamn screen. It would have been like, oh, because of this, because of that. There's no fucking. How you guys, you know what I'm saying? How do you guys digest this word salad? You just eat it up and digest it. I don't get it.
So this comment I put up, I don't know if you can see it, CJ. I know you present. He said CJ can't translate bimbo, and that's why it's hard to read that because you ever hear AOC speak? Like you can tell that was her giving the word salad until she think of something to say. So that whole first paragraph we could have skipped it. Like it had nothing to do with the question. That's her literally wasting time. Did what all politicians, not just an AOC thing, guys. Not just an AOC thing, by the way. All politicians do that. And Biden, his cue is. Let me be clear. I'm gonna set the record straight. They do these things where they like stalling for time when they think. Yeah. When you look at that first paragraph again, that's her literally stalling for time. Like, oh shit, how I'm gonna answer this question? No, how I don't actually work with anyone outside of corporate Democrats. So I'll let you continue. Let's see if she actually answered the question. The first paragraph, completely waste of time. Let's let you guys know. Go ahead, CJ.
All right. So because I think there's so much work to do, but there's fewer organizations and resources to do it with on the left than there are, of course, just on what is
just real quick, CJ, real quick. They also and she doing the same thing here. She said, "Well, as much as I want to help, we don't have the same kind of money. We don't got big money like the corporate Democrats. Motherfucker, y'all raised millions. How much money do you need?" Yes, you don't have as much as Joe Manchin does, but give Rome millions of dollars and watch what he does.
Man,
are y'all serious?
Anyway, I would literally turn this fucking whole country into a communist state if I had a couple of $1 million. You know how much propaganda will be fucking going through your goddamn neighborhoods? Man, no, these people ain't about to trick me, bro. It don't take that much. And even if you don't have the money, you have the influence to get the money out there. You got the influence to get the people out there on the ground, to feed their people, to tell them to do this. They do whatever the fuck you tell them to. These people sink for you and you know it. But you don't want to work with us because you're not one of us. And if you come over here, you're going to have to answer our questions. You're going to have to really talk to us in real time. And that's something a politician is not trying to do, is be around real people with real issues that they have been neglecting and writing bills against themselves.
So
go ahead. You can go ahead and read it, but I literally skimmed this, and this is a bunch of word salad bullshit. But go ahead.
Right. So you get what is the point I'm trying to make. So that's what I was just about to say. I'm not going to read the whole. I'm going to go to the next question because there's questions and some answers that it's going to be really fire conversation to talk about. But I need to preface this by saying the next part that I'm reading, it's going to sound like it doesn't make sense because it doesn't. Because I'm reading and I'm like, this grammatically doesn't make. She jumps without completing the thought, and then she'll just go to something else. So I'll read it just like it's written. But yeah, I mean, I think there's so much work to do, but there's fewer organizations and resources to do it with on the left than there are, of course, just on the moneyed right wing and corporate wing. That it then falls on individual organizations to have like these huge missions, which sometimes can lead to a little bit of dilution of focus.
What?
A lot of people arguing over what one organization should do, or opposed to the corporate wing of a party where every small priority has its own PAC, has
Pause.
its own organization.
Pause. What she is saying here makes no sense. I hope you guys hear, because Ryan Grimm asked her, why aren't you working with Working Families Party in the and Justice Democrats to help progressives get elected? That is the question. How did she start bringing? Well, organizations. We don't have that kind of money. We got small organizations. They all got different focuses, and we can't compare. Nick, he is asking you, why don't you work with these organizations? Like, her answer has nothing to do with his question. She started bringing up, well, we got organizations that do just different stuff. Hey, how can we organize with all these different left? That had nothing to do with the question that was asked. Why aren't you helping the movement and the strategy that you support? We don't support this. You guys support the idea of electing more progressive Democrats, and that is a crucial part of your strategy. So why do you refuse to endorse people until the week of the election? Do you guys remember that was the original question? What the fuck was he talking about? But go ahead, let's continue.
Yeah, so let's go to the next question, because that was a rambling. We don't need to keep hearing that. But so let's see what else he asked her. It's interesting because when the left was totally out of power, from say, like, 2015 up through the election of the squad, that unity among kind of the national grassroots online left was really strong. That unity has really frayed. You can feel it online. What do you think? That's what I was just about to say. This is about us. So what do you think brought that about? And what do you think can be done to recharge it? Now, let me add this quote in, because this quote is from her. Quote, the left of the United States until very, very recently is not used to power, not used to being in power, not used to wielding power. Are we doing any of this? Are we in power? And if we're in power, are we wielding power? Now we're talking about power, AOC, when for 2 years you've refused to vote as a bloc and use your power. They could literally, it's 220 Democrats and 212 Republicans. And remember, Nick, we did the list. There's 10 progressive members we listed. There's an 8-seat difference. Those 10 members could decide every single piece of legislation that came to the floor the entire 2 years. So she's now having this quote about wielding power. So is this the excuse, Nick, in Rome, that she's giving? That we haven't been used to having it. We haven't had used to having it. That's why we don't know how to use it. Maybe that's what she's saying, Nick and Rome. They're not used to using it.
When I get my power, what I'm saying, I get in office and something bad comes along, like, funding the Iron Dome, instead of wielding my power, I would just sign on it and just cry like a little bitch. Because is that wielding power? No, it's not. No, it's not. You have no examples, no good examples. Democrats or progressive have no good examples of this party. And this woman would not give up, would not work with these people because she don't want to be around poor. She don't want to be around regular people. She don't want to do anything. Her job isn't to help you. It's to give you an illusion of choice. It's to give you an illusion of a person on your side. If she was to actually help you, she would lose her fucking job. She would lose her job. Everybody from Nancy Pelosi to blah, 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 be on her fucking heads about starting tenant unions. And come on, man, that shit ain't happening.
Go back to the quote, CJ, the quote that you just read.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm gonna keep it short, because I can literally go on a tangent on this. Like this, if you don't know that much about AOC, you can fall for this. If you know a lot about AOC in the record like I do, this is malicious. This is malicious. And this is very evil, and she knows exactly what she's doing. The left of the United States until very, very recently is not used to power, not used to being in power. The left, for one, the left is not in power because you're not part of the left. Secondly, it said the left is not, we don't know what to do with it. Oh, I got this power. I don't know what to do with it. Oops, I'm dropping the power. The power is everywhere. I don't know what to do with it. AOC, we have been telling you what to do since day one. How are you going to be a quote-unquote left member of Congress with power, but you refuse, and I mean absolutely refuse, to engage with the outside game? The outside game knows how we use power. That's why we had a general strike summit. That's why we had a March for Medicare for All. How many of these events did AOC show up for?
0. And Martha Stewart used to be my hero.
So what she's saying sounds even like ditzy to someone who don't know. But if you know AOC in the record, you know the political strategy, you realize this is malicious gaslighting. There was the outside game that was begging her to wield the power, begging her to join us. So for the very first time, we can have political power. So she says here the left is not used to having political power. You know what will embolden and give political power to the outside working class movement that had never had before? I don't know. Maybe a powerful, influential politician that is working with them and helping them accomplish their goals, which AOC is not doing. Wow, I told you, CJ, I didn't read this interview. I actually wanted to go into blind because I wanted to hear you cover it.
No, it's good.
Man, literally, the few quotes that I read already is horrific. And I haven't read the whole article. I literally want to pull this up and hate read it later. Like, damn, every answer is Nancy Pelosi level bad. And I'm not exaggerating. Go ahead, CJ.
Nick. I haven't even gotten to the worst part. Yes. So let me just reread this last. This reread. No, this reread. Chime in whenever you want. But that unity has frayed. He's talking about the unity online, like the online left, pretty much. You can feel it online, and that's what he's talking about. You can feel all the different things that's happening with Ryan Graham, with Sam Cedar, with Jimmy Dore, with Anna Casperia, with Jank, with Brianna Joy Gray. What do you think brought that about? And what do you think can be done to recharge it? And here's AOC's answer. Well, again, I think a lot of it has to do with it's one thing to be united in what's wrong, but it is a much more complicated, nuanced thing to navigate uncertainty. And so then once you have the responsibility of power, you have to make decisions on a daily basis about what to do with it. And that takes a lot of communication, frankly, maturity and understanding and discussion.
What?
And sometimes the responsibility of wielding power for people requires a lot of decisions and debate and also disagreement and how we manage disagreement. I don't.
Paragraph.
What was the question?
She said nothing. There's nothing. What? Nigga, look at the question. Ryan Graham. I keep talking to her.
Right here. Here it goes right here.
Oh my God.
She repeated the same nothingness, bro. That's crazy.
What is she talking about?
She didn't even come close to answering the question is, why do you think that there's so many online grassroots left that is upset with you? That is essentially what the question is. Why do you think you lost your support? What the hell did the paragraph following that have to do with the question? Not at all, anything. I'll read it.
They don't know any better because you see, you guys, this is what's going to happen to all of your favorite progressives, all of your Greens, everybody. If we send these people with a political mindset into this capitalist government, this imperialist government, dog, they're going to turn out just like that. And somebody saying, I think the CIA is holding these people hostage. Yes, the CIA has dirt on some politicians, but some politicians just agree with the CIA. Some people just do work for the CIA. And this is what she's doing. And there is no coming back from what she have done. People are dead. You bombed Africa. You bombed Palestine. You know what I'm saying? Gaza Strip. Got people whipped on the border. And Biden still passed your expectations. You can't get back from that. There is no coming back from that. And she knows it. That's why she's like, these people don't know any better because, look, it's really a capitalist hellhole and I got to work with what I got. No. Because even if you, Jamal Bowman, and Cori Bush would have held up just a couple of bills, we could have put some shit in standstill and got, some negotiating going. Just a couple of you guys, because everybody else is bipartisanship on these bills. It all passed. All the members of each party signed them, but we couldn't even get 3 of you motherfuckers to say no to funding war.
Yeah. CJ, if you don't mind, I'm about to read this part, and I'm gonna
Go
translate
ahead.
because CJ can't translate bimbo, and I'm gonna try my best here, just to show you guys how much of a word salad that AOC is giving here. So scroll just a little bit to Ryan Grimm's question.
Absolutely. Oh, right here. I just made it bigger for those that
So
can't see well
I'm
like
summing
me.
up the question. So Ryan Grimm is talking about how the left didn't have power until 2015. That unity grew with the national grassroots online left. That unity has really frayed. So what he's saying in a nice way, your online support, your grassroots support has left. And then he asks, what do you think can be done to recharge it? That is the question, okay, guys? The question is, you had support, that you lost it. What can you do to bring that support back? Okay, you want to get to your answer? Well, again, I think it has a lot to do with it's one thing to be united in what's wrong, but it's much more complicated, nuanced thing to navigate uncertainty. And so then you have to have the responsibility of power. You have to make decisions on a daily basis. And what you do with it takes a lot of communication and, frankly, maturity, understanding, and discussion. And sometimes the responsibility of wielding power for people requires a lot of discussion and debate. And also disagreement and how we manage. You gotta see that's how I read it. Scroll down. Now add AOC's voice that you all know to this. Let's go down so I can finish it. And sometimes the responsibility of wielding power for people requires a lot of discussion and debate, and also disagreement on how we manage those disagreements.
You know what this is? This was a tell. This was a reflexive reaction to the question because she understands where the answer needs to go.
Yep.
But she has to set the foundation to make her not seem like the bad person here, because she knows she's disappointed people. So all of this stuff is her trying to have an introduction of all her excuses. Look what she's saying. Listen, I got all this stuff. I got a Nazarite uncertainty and the responsibility of power and all this stuff. All this. She basically saying, I got so much shit going on. I can't really, do what I'm supposed to do. Basically, is what she's saying here.
And you see how we manage disagreements.
That's
so. All right, let's.
I told you not to bomb Africa. That's not a disagreement, motherfucker. That's a command. Don't give power to these war criminals. Be the fucking foot in the, you know what I'm saying? Be the fork in the road for some people. That's what your job was from the left. The left. That's what we told you guys to do. But you went in and you sold out quicker than any other politician in history. In history, Bernie Sanders didn't even sell out this fucking fast. Holy shit.
To illustrate how horrific of an answer this is, imagine if a Republican was trying to court your support. And then AOC or you respond, I will never support the Republican Party. You guys are against gay people and you guys are against abortion. And then the Republican guy said, come on, man, we got to manage our disagreements. Do you guys see how stupid this is? Nigga, either we are on the same side or we are not. Oh, come on. I vote for Nancy Pelosi. We got to manage our disagreements, man. It's a little thing. I know I armed Taiwan. I know I did that. We got to manage where we disagree. You guys would never say that regarding the Republican Party. So why did this stupid bullshit apply for Democrats who have strong... Remember, we did a stream, and I was talking about it with Glenn Greenwald, and he agrees. These are not small disagreements. Funding and arming NATO is not a small disagreement.
Telling the migrants in your community and your district to not come. Yeah, you thought we forgot about that. I'm not talking about Camilla. I'm talking about AOC. She did the same shit. Told them don't come, and all these motherfuckers taking up for. Oh, it's because of the conditions. Motherfucker, this New York. This ain't some fucking street on the east side of Detroit. This ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all, one of the richest cities, one of the richest states we have. Y'all can take care of those people, but she she feel the same way that she feel about us.
I think. Yeah, go ahead, CJ.
This is where it's gonna really piss you off. The next few lines. I'm just warning both of you. The next few lines here. So I'm gonna read this last part and then I'm gonna go into it without stopping.
This is the main part. We were just warming up.
Yeah. So And that takes a lot of communication and, frankly, maturity and uncertainty and discussion. And sometimes the responsibility of wielding power for people requires a lot of discussion and debate, and also disagreement and how we manage disagreement. If someone makes a mistake, it's not the same thing as someone selling out. There needs to be a differentiation between an individual decision and a record and a pattern. Okay, I can barely get, so let me read the next couple of sentences. And so in the initial aftermath of gaining power, having to have these conversations require a lot of growth, and it requires a lot of debate. And yeah, I mean, I think sometimes it's very easy to turn on each other and have people turn on each other. Exactly. This is all about her.
Am I turning on Rome? Am I turning on CJ? It's very hard for me to turn on each other. It's easy to turn on you. Go ahead, CJ.
No, but this is where we'll stop.
You said that shit. I can't believe if I was that interviewer. I'm sorry, bro, but if I was Glenn, I would have just held up a fucking mirror. Ryan, I would have just held up a fucking mirror and just let her talk to her fucking self. Say this to your goddamn self.
So does Ryan ask any follow-up? Like a simple follow-up question to the first answer we read would be, what? Like, you know that Ryan Grimm, no follow-up question, no. Hey, do you want to clarify that word salad you just said, bro? He just goes with it. I got my exclusive interview. Go ahead, CJ.
Oh, he chose to make this a big part right here. He did. So this quote we just read, he made it big. There needs to be a differentiation between an individual decision and a record. Now, this is what PMCs do. They don't like what is going on, and they say, let's create something new. This is what PMCs do. So she's saying the criteria of being a leftist, it used to be doing leftist shit. That's over. We need to differentiate when I'm doing corporate shit, but I'm in my heart, I'm still a progressive. So she's trying to construct a new lane. And let me read this again. If someone makes a mistake, it's not the same thing as selling out. Now, if that person makes the mistake over and over and over and over again, what would you call that, Nick and Rome? Go ahead.
So you want to know what a mistake is? Like whenever I'm cooking an omelet and I'm trying to crack the egg and I actually drop the egg and the egg splatters all over the floor. I'm like, damn, oops, damn it, I dropped the egg, right? That's a mistake. A mistake is not deferring to caucus leadership when it comes to regime change in Venezuela. You can't say, oops, send arms to Taiwan. My bad. Oops, accidentally escalated war with a nuclear power. My bad, oopsies. And AOC sycophants and the people who treat her like a politician, they will 100% believe that. And I see them say this all the time, oh, you guys are nitpicking over the mistakes. You mean important geopolitical issues?
Oops, I did it again. I funded Ukraine and bombed all those kids.
And Ryan Grimm put that quote right there. There needs to be a differentiation between individual decisions and a record and a pattern. He put that there. He put that there because he needed something. Because he got this interview with AOC, and once again, I don't assume these people are dumb. Like I listen to Ryan Grimm. I know he covered these issues. He covered corruption. He know what the fuck's going on. So he listened to this AOC interview horrified. Like, yo, did I just accidentally expose AOC? So let me put the one quote up here that may get the professional managerial class nodding along. So they know if any working class person reads this, they're gonna lose them. But maybe he can help get the professional managerial class on their side because David Schroeder gonna see that quote and he'll be like, "Yeah, I feel the same way." Fucking RBN always calling me a traitor. So he put that there so hopefully like some people in the professional managerial class can relate to AOC. But if you're on the left and you're a worker and you're an activist still apologizing for AOC, man, I'm actually kind of sad at how colonized your mind is at this point. It's so, and I do say that out of pity because I was there at one point where I thought that these people actually meant something. But if you still believe this in the Lord's 2022, in the end of like we about to hit 2023, if you still believe that, Just admit you're in a cult. Just admit that politics is just vibes. You want AOC to be the progressive fighter because you think she's cute. You want her to be the superstar. You want her to be the protagonist. It's not about issues to you.
Let's zero in on this part. Go ahead, Rome, if you're gonna try.
No, I just got a little thing to say because it's so crazy, man. How she said a record and a pattern, but your record has a pattern of you enabling white supremacy. Has a pattern of you bombing black and brown kids in just 2 years. 2 or 3 years, you have a pattern on your record, and we see what you are going to do. You gave money to Israel. Now you give money to Ukraine. Is that not a pattern? Are we not calling out a pattern here on her record? We're not calling out individual decisions because all the squad got called the fuck out. Even the dinos got called the fuck out. But that's all I have to say.